The quiet between us. There was no big fight, no betrayal, no dramatic ending. That's what made it hurt the most. Meklit used to believe love would end in something loud, doors slamming, tears falling, voices breaking. But with Abel, it ended in silence. The kind that slowly grows until it fills every space between two people. They met in a place that didn't matter much. A mutual friends gathering, music too loud, people pretending to be happier than they were. But somehow, in the middle of all that noise, they noticed each other. Abel had a calm presence, the kind that made you feel like things would be okay, even when they weren't. Meklit, on the other hand, carried her emotions close to the surface. She laughed easily, cared deeply, and loved without holding back. It worked. At least in the beginning, they built something simple. Late-night calls, long walks with no destination, conversations that stretched into the early morning, where dreams felt possible and life felt shared. But reality has a way of entering quietly. Abel started working longer hours, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. Responsibilities piled up, family expectations, financial pressure, the kind of weight that doesn't leave room for softness. Meklit noticed the change before he said anything. The calls became shorter, the messages less frequent, the laughter quieter. "Are you okay?" she asked one night. "I'm just tired," he said. And it was true, but it wasn't the whole truth. What he didn't say was that he didn't know how to carry everything anymore, his responsibilities, his stress, and her expectations of love. Not because she asked for too much, but because he felt like he had less and less to give. Meklit tried to understand. She told herself love meant patience. It meant staying, even when things felt different. So she stayed. But staying started to feel like waiting. Waiting for him to come back to how he used to be. Waiting for the warmth to return. Waiting for a version of love that no longer existed. One evening, they sat together, side by side, saying nothing. It wasn't comfortable silence. It wasn't peaceful. It was empty. That's when she realized something she wasn't ready to admit before. You can be with someone and still feel alone. "Do you still love me?" she asked, barely above a whisper. Abel didn't answer right away, not because he didn't care, but because he didn't know how to explain what he felt. "I do," he finally said. "Just not the way I used to." And there it was. Not an ending, not a breaking point, just a quiet truth. Love hadn't disappeared. It had changed, worn down by life, by pressure, by things neither of them knew how to fix. Meklit nodded, even though her chest felt tight. Because sometimes love doesn't fail. It just fades. They didn't break up that night. They just stopped trying. Days turned into weeks. Messages became occasional. Calls became rare. Until one day, they realized they hadn't spoken in a long time. No goodbye, no closure, just distance. Months later, Meklit would still think about him, not with anger, but with a kind of sadness that felt permanent. She understood something now that she didn't before. Love isn't always lost because of something wrong. Sometimes it's lost because life moves in a different direction, and no one knows how to hold on. As for Abel, he would sometimes scroll through old messages late at night, not to go back, but to remember, because even if it didn't last, it was real. And maybe that's the hardest part.